Hey everybody, Rose Matter here. Welcome to my new anime react series. I recently finished up Spy Family up until the end of the season, and while we wait for the rest of it to come out, hopefully this fall, it's time for me to watch something else. I recently posted a poll on my community page. You guys voted, and the winner was Black Lagoon. Now, this is going to be an interesting one because not only is this like my first, I think, kind of like full action anime, but it's going to be the first dubbed anime that I react to. That's right. I'm going to be watching the dubbed version because that was what some people recommended. They actually say that the dubbed version is as good, if not better, than the original version. So this should be interesting. I'm actually going to understand what people are saying without having to read subtitles. And speaking of subtitles, this was going to be a little bit weird because unfortunately I was not able to find a dubbed version of Black Lagoon online that also had subtitles. And of course, because YouTube, I won't be able to play the audio, unfortunately. For those of you guys who are watching on Patreon, you're going to see the full true version of this, so it's going to have all the audio and everything. But for YouTube, unfortunately, I'm not going to have the audio, but you guys can always watch the episode, follow along with it with the audio playing on your end. And I am going to have subtitles at the bottom. The problem is the subtitles don't quite match up with the dub, what they're saying. That makes sense. It's not a one-to-one translation. So it's going to be a little bit off, but hopefully you guys are okay with it. I recommend for people watching it on YouTube to pull up the episode of Black Lagoon and just follow along with me while I react to it. I'll have linked down below where I watched my version of Black Lagoon. That way you can just watch it nice and easy. Hopefully that's everything that I need to say for it. I'm really excited. This should be a fun ride. From what little I have seen of Black Lagoon, it seems like it's going to be very action-packed. And like I said, watching the dubbed version is going to be interesting. I can't remember the last time I actually watched like a dubbed anime. So let's get into it, guys. Let's watch the first episode together, and I will give you guys my thoughts afterwards. Let's go. All right, so we're starting right in the theme song. And of course, because it's like action, it's got to be a little bit of rock here. Also, this is not going to be an issue for Patreon, but it's going to be a lot of guns, a lot of violence. Hopefully YouTube is going to be okay with this. Like already, I'm like 30 seconds in and there's been guns. Oh, at least it censored it there a little bit, but there's been guns about 15, 20 times. We are going to have the timer to cover up a good chunk of the screen. So hopefully, hopefully it's going to be okay with it. And also, I know that the main character's name is Revi, I believe. And my husband and I, a couple of months ago, we did videos where I voted on like anime husbandos. He voted on like anime waifus. And she was one of the ones that was recommended for people to put on the list. And I said myself, I'm like, I think that she's attractive. Like, I really like her design. It's simple, but it's cool. I really like the look of her. I mean, just the fact she's got tattoos alone is like so different from a lot of female characters. Man, imagine like working somewhere where you literally get your ass kicked. Also, this anime is from like the mid 2000s, right? This is going to be one of the older ones I've reacted to. 2006 doesn't seem so far away, but it's almost 20 years ago. And it's depressing to think about. All right. Getting into the violence and guns very quickly. Here we go. Hey, kneecap this pussy. I love it. And one thing is her shorts look very uncomfortable. I like her already. I like her voice. She's got like it's a little bit of there's some grit to it. And so we saw this guy in the opening. So I wonder if he joins this team, whoever they are. This poor guy, just like businessman, salaryman, and obviously he's like, what have I got myself into? And no mention about the guy who was kidnapped. Wonder if they're gonna hire pirates to take care of the pirates. So it'll be interesting. So it's like a group of pirates, like mercenaries. Yeah, I have a feeling they don't care about their employee at all. They just want the disc. I love she's so expressive. Obviously, she's a little bit of the loose cannon, and Dutch is like the calm one. Got to keep her under control. It's like good cop, bad cop right now. He seems much more easy to negotiate with in comparison. Right? Exactly. Especially compared to Revy. They're just gonna basically, he's like collateral damage. They're like, we don't care about getting him back. We just care about the disc. They've already forgotten. To be fair, I'm gonna have a hard time, I feel like, remembering his name for the first little bit. Like Dutch and Revy, those are easy names for me to remember. Oh, Kajima. They're very lax about it, aren't they? I'm guessing like this is the Black Lagoon, hence the title of the probably where a bunch of like the mercenaries, the pirates probably hang out. An unsavory place. And that's the thing too, is that's why people said that this would be a good thing to watch dubbed, is because a lot of the characters are not Japanese. So I think a lot of them end up speaking in English anyway. So it just makes sense to watch the dubbed version. Yeah, it's a good thing. The YouTube this is censored. At least there's no audio because there's a lot of swearing. He's like their IT guy, I'm guessing. Of course, of course, they all gotta like give their right their stories. Now, what's Revy's story? What do I feel like he's gonna get sick or something? Again, Japanese salarymen, they can drink. He's gonna feel like he's gonna either he's hardcore or he's gonna regret it immediately. Exactly. Yeah. Right? Exactly. Oh boy. Jesus. They're just gonna take him out, aren't they? Yep. Well. Well, this escalated quickly. Holy cow. They don't play around. Yeah, it's definitely different from, oh, jeez, what I usually watch. Like, there's definitely, I've watched some stuff with some violent things happening, but wow, this is crazy. Two hands? He's like, this is oddly attractive. He's just like, I'm scared and horny. Yeah, so of course you've got, yeah, like this guy just tags along for the ride. And he's gonna end up as part of the group. Don't know if he's gonna end up being, a killer like them, or if he's gonna have some other purpose to serve in the group, but should be interesting to see. Wonder if that's the blonde woman? Wow. Very professional. I like the fact that this guy, like, he's not super meek. Like, he's not afraid to speak up for himself. And neither do you, probably. Wow. Damn. So it's not even so much like we're gonna leave you to die. It's like we're going to kill you. Ugh, gross. Yeah, I have an issue with throwing up. Gross. Yeah, there we go. So he's just gonna be like, I'm just gonna stick with you guys. It's like if my company basically is trying to kill me, I got nowhere else to go, especially if they're gonna basically say, like, I'm dead to everybody that I know. And the problem is, like, if they fail to kill him now, they're gonna keep coming after him because now he knows the secrets of his company. Here we go, yes. Oh, that's it. Okay. Well, wasn't expecting it to. That was a weird way for it to end. Especially because like the music is so the opposite of like the beginning. The beginning was like very high energy. This is just kind of low and depressing and like slow and okay. Well, interesting. Other than like the abrupt ending, it just felt like it kind of cut off in the middle of like the episode. I liked it. Yeah. Like I definitely like Spy Family had its action moments, but definitely not the swearing and the amount of gun. Like there are some guns in there, but like the blood, the death, they keep it to a relative minimum. This one they lean into. This is full action. So this is definitely something different for me, but I do love some good action for sure. That was one of the things I really liked about Spy Family was the action sequences. So it did a pretty good job of like introducing the characters, giving the setup for. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry. I've already forgotten his name. But the Japanese businessman, just like how he basically just working. Oh, all right, let's just watch before I continue on. Okay. Oh, that's it. Mangrove Heaven. Okay. Okay, Rokuro. I had to look that up. I was like, what was his name? Rokuro. So, uh, you got the typical like young businessman, salary man, disrespected by his company, trying to move up in the world, just like disrespected and harassed and looked down upon probably because he's so young to uh like no excitement in his life, and then just caught up in this crazy like situation with his company secretly making nukes for a war-torn country, and then just like dragged in with these mercenaries, these pirates, and it seems like he's going to be kind of part of the group. It'll be interesting to see like how's he going to fit into this group. And I also like, you know, the characters. So we've got you got like what was his name? Benny. You got like he's like the IT guy who got caught up in some stuff with the mafia and the FBI. Revy managed to save him and get him in their group. You got Dutch, who's kind of like the leader. He's a little bit more calm. He is like composed. He's intimidating, but also he seems pretty reasonable and level-headed. And then you've got Revy, who's just the complete loose cannon, foul mouth. Seems like she likes to party. She's violent. She's gonna be fun. I think she's definitely gonna be the fun character, and I just love just her design, her like mannerisms, her expressions. She's a very expressive character, and I like her already. I like all the characters, what little I know of them, but I think Revy's gonna be my favorite, just because like she's so badass and she's just got such a cool design. And I like that also. Rokuro. God, I'm so sorry. I am terrible with names. Yeah, Rokuro. Like he's not a wilting flower as much as you think. Obviously, he's freaking out because who wouldn't in a situation like this? Uh, but I like that he doesn't just kind of, he's not meek. He actually argues back with the mercenaries, especially Revy. Like he sticks up for himself. He's pissed, you know, a righteous anger about the fact he just was abandoned by his company. Not only are they like not going to pay the ransom, but they're going out of their way like to kill him to keep him silent, and also so they don't have to worry about him. So obviously he's angry about that. And yeah, as long as he's alive, I imagine that his company is just going to keep trying to go after him because now he knows the truth about what's going on with it. So, yeah, like in the 20 minutes or so, it's a really good setup. And they kept it relatively simple. I was afraid when they were talking about all this stuff about like, oh, the Russian mafia wants this disc. I was like, oh gosh, it's going to be all this espionage stuff. But it's relatively simple so far. And I like the setup of the world itself, like this black lagoon, you know, this place where kind of all the dredges of society congregate. It's kind of like a no man's land. It's like a lawless land, and it definitely lends itself to potential like a lot of interesting situations and characters. So I'm down. Like it this is definitely kind of different for me in terms of the stuff. Not only the fact that it's a dub, but also just like more action focused. I've gone from kind of psychological horror to more like cutesy stuff to kind of something that's a mixture of comedy and action. But this is straight up like action. It's a little bit more filthy. It's a little bit more violent. And I'm down for it. I'm always down to like watch something different. And I like the art style too. There's something very nostalgic about it. I know it's from 2006. That was kind of when I was really into anime. It was like in high school. So kind of like the mid 2000s. So this art style is very nostalgic to me. There's a little bit of there's grittiness to it. It's like a little bit older looking. It's not as polished. The art style's still beautiful, but like in kind of that gritty old school way. And I just really like it. This is the type of thing, if I had watched this back then, I would have definitely been drawing the characters. And I don't know, there's just something to it that just reminds me of like the stuff that I used to watch in high school. And somehow this passed me by. I guess maybe I was just getting out of anime by that time, or maybe for whatever reason, it didn't seem like my cup of tea. This, like, I wasn't really into like the action stuff back then and the more mature stuff. But I think I'm going to enjoy this. This seems like it's a fun ride. So thank you guys so much for recommending it to me. So that's going to do it for me. I want to know what your guys' thoughts are, whether you've watched Black Lagoon before, if this is your first time watching it with me. What are your thoughts so far? I think this is going to be a real fun one. I like that we're continuing on with kind of like a little bit more of an action-oriented one, but it's leaning more into the mature content. Because I was going kind of cutesy there with like Bochi and then Spy Family, which are like definitely more lighthearted. This is kind of like a mixture of the action, but also the maturity of the shows that I used to watch before. It's like I don't think I've watched something quite mature and actiony like this since maybe Psychopaths, which I also really enjoyed. But this is definitely, this isn't that kind of like futuristic sci-fi thing. This is more grounded in reality, which I also dig as well. So thank you guys again for recommending Black Lagoon. Based on the first episode, I think I'm really going to enjoy this one. I hope you did enjoy my first episode reaction to it. If there's anything I missed, anything you want to talk about, you can comment down below, just as long as there's no spoilers. That's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you for watching this first episode, and stay tuned next week for episode 2. Until then, bye. Special shoutouts to my top tier patrons: Emily Hornsby, Salieri, Zoran Ether, Amdere, Revealing Storm, Icognito, Asborn Kennedy, Harry Gazif, Jared Fan, and Saturn Sins.